Ever since Arrow came onto the scene back in 2012, the CW has been obsessed with the creation of a universe similar to that of the MCU. And with Black Lightning set to entertain us one last time before bringing its leg to the Arrowverse to a close, fans of the show and broader universe are curious to see what Jefferson Pierce has in store for them. But what do we really know about the fourth and final season of Black Lightning? And why do fans believe it might be changing everything we've learned over the years? Well, whether you're a long-standing fan of the Arrowverse or have just come to love the action-packed drama that Black Lightning brings with it, you've come to the right place, as we're about to take a look at everything there is to know about Season 4 of the electric show. So strap yourselves in and get ready for sparks to fly, as we're about to jump right into it. Who is Black Lightning? As a character from DC's comics, Jefferson Pierce first appeared during the Bronze Age of comics in Black Lightning #1, back in April of 1977. And while his origin has been retconned a number of times since then, Jefferson has always been an incredibly important figure within the DC universe. And it's not just because of how strong the character is, but rather how much the character meant to readers at the time. You see, Black Lightning was the first African-American superhero to ever get his own series. Jefferson Pierce was written and created by Tony Isabella, whom fans of the Marvel comic verse might know from the creation of superheroes such as Luke Cage. But it's not just the skin color of the hero known as Black Lightning that joins him at the hip to Cage. Both heroes are depicted as being saviors of the slums of America, with Black Lightning set within the streets of Suicide Slum, an area just outside of Metropolis. Nothing more than a school teacher hell-bent on making the life of his children better at first, Jefferson inherits the power to control electricity through the use of a technologically advanced belt that he wears to fight crime. And once he becomes Black Lightning, there's no stopping him. But this is just the origins of the character, with the CW doing its best to bring him into the new century where poverty is rife within these slums. Season 1 of the show actually starts years after Black Lightning made the decision to leave the crime-fighting world for his family, becoming the principal of his high school as a result. But with the 100 gang doing everything they can to threaten everyone living within the neighborhood, Jefferson finds that he needs to become Black Lightning one more time out of pure necessity. When is Season 4 going to release? Surprisingly enough, Season 4 of Black Lightning already premiered on the CW a few days ago, with a new episode due to hit television screens every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. There is, however, talk of Netflix securing the fourth and final season at some point, so if you don't have access to the CW, you might have to wait a little while. That being said, you do gain access to the CW without having cable by making use of the free Fubo TV trial that is currently going around. So if waiting isn't in you, make sure to use this option as soon as you can. What happened leading up to Season 4 of Black Lightning? Before discussing and theorizing about the content of the fourth season, allow us to take you through what went on during the Season 3 finale of the show, as it was a while ago and we think everyone could use a little reminder every now and again. After almost microwaving Jefferson's face off while his men took the knocked out Jennifer away, Gravedigger easily made his way through Erica and Gardner after making a beeline for the facility known as the Pit. Back on the streets of Freeland, however, Lala lived up to the expectations of becoming a hometown hero of sorts, arriving just in time with his gang to help the police department and Detective Henderson shoot down some invading Markovian soldiers. A few moments later, and Black Lightning was saving Jefferson from a meta-dampening cell where he eventually ended up in the crosshairs of another Markovian soldier. But luckily for him, Henderson was on the case and was able to take the soldier out, along with a few others. The scene ended in a heartbreak, however, with Henderson finally falling to a fatal shot from another of the armed forces, causing her to slowly die in Jefferson's arms. And considering how she has always been one of the most loved characters of the franchise, viewers were shocked to see how far the CW show was willing to go to pull the tears from our eyes. In the meantime, Gravedigger was facing off against Thunder in the Pit, which caused him to order Grace to kill her girlfriend, which ended up resulting in more than a little catfight. But with Thunder not having enough power within him, Lightning decided to show up on the scene with nothing but rage. Combining powers with Geo to make volcanic lightning, viewers cheered as they thought that Gravedigger was no more. That was, however, far from true. This gave Black Lightning the opportunity to fight against Gravedigger one last time, but came up short once more as Gravedigger began to microwave him from the inside out. Before our hero could fall, however, Lynn showed up with a rifle full of anti-booster, which she shot at Gravedigger, making him no match for the heroic powers of Jefferson Pierce. And with the Pit set to self-destruct, Black Lightning and Lynn were left to fly on out of there, leaving the explosion to engulf the knocked-out gravedigger, literally leaving him to dig his own grave. The remainder of the season finale saw Black Lightning and his team testifying before Congress regarding the atrocities committed via experimentation of Freelanders. And when the heroes finally left the hearing, the camera panned over to a pasty-looking man who turned out to be the shape-shift form of a powered-up gravedigger, clearly ready for round 2. What have we seen from season 4 already? At the moment, 3 episodes of Black Lightning have been made available as far as summaries go, with both episode 1 and 2 having been released on the CW. For those of you who aren't quite caught up with season 4, be aware that there are bound to be some spoilers ahead. So if you're not interested in having the show spoiled for you, it might be best for you to pause the video quickly and return when you have finally watched the episodes that have already been released. But with that warning in mind, let's get right to what the summaries of these episodes tell us. The first episode of the anticipated 4th season is called The Book of Reconstruction Chapter 1. The tagline for this episode is teased by referring to the fact that Jefferson is still mourning the loss of his dear friend, Detective Henderson, and because of this grief is clashing with Lynn based on her actions in the season before. But by far the most damaging of anything to happen in the first episode is Jefferson's own rage, which appears to be returning at an alarming rate. There's no doubt that Black Lightning as a character has been through a lot, but where he allowed himself to be beaten in season 3 to avoid more casualties of inequality, nothing could be farther from how he feels in season 4. This becomes clear when we see a black teenager being harassed by 2 white officers. Rather than interject in the manner we're used to, Jefferson loses control in a rage of electricity, lighting the officers up and disabling their car and dash camera before driving away. From these actions, it becomes clear that Black Lightning is becoming the very enemy he has always fought against, using anger rather than control to guide his powers. So in a sense, Gravedigger has already gotten what he wanted all along, with Jefferson appearing to be corrupted to a certain extent. The second episode, aptly referred to as the second chapter of the Book of Reconstruction, surrounds the behavior of Jefferson once more, and has Lynn notice that this is more than just acting out to account for the loss of Henderson. We also see the war between the 100 and Cobra Cartel raging on, while being reminded that although the citizens of the neighborhood need Black Lightning now more than ever, it's a break that Jefferson really needs for himself. The Joker, another DC supervillain, once said that heroes are nothing more than a bad day away from becoming the supervillains they fight against. And as the episodes go by, it appears that Jefferson is falling deeper and deeper into that hole. What can we expect to happen next? The third episode of this final season is looking to release next week, Monday, but the tagline has already disclosed that Jefferson is left feeling more lost after an unsuccessful and frustrating therapy session. And honestly, we can understand why, right? Jefferson is carrying a huge weight around in the form of Black Lightning being his alter ego. And since he can't disclose this information to his therapist, the professional is left with little to no information to try and help the hero get back to the mental state he used to have in previous seasons. Self-doubt is by far the enemy so far when it comes to Jefferson Pierce, and the only person that can help him get out of that hole is himself, and the family that knows exactly what he has been going through. But since Lynn is too busy testing meta compounds, he feels like he has nobody close to turn to, and we're assuming that the breakthrough she is set to have in this episode has nothing to do with her relationship with Jefferson and more to do with her experiments. In essence, it looks like what we can expect from this final season is pretty simple. It's likely that for the remainder of the first half of season 4, we'll be watching as Jefferson gets better through the use of therapy and making up with Lynn. When he finally overcomes this self-doubt and guilt he has been feeling because of the way the previous season ended, Gravedigger is most likely going to reappear again, causing Black Lightning to become fired up once more. But where in the first portion of the season he fought using his anger and guilt, he will now have to face his most difficult challenge yet, which will be defeating Gravedigger without displaying and getting lost in all of this rage. He'll discover the control, love, and teamwork are better than losing himself to defeat an enemy, and understand that Henderson would have never wanted to see him lose control in the first place. This, however, is just our theory. What do you think will be happening in the 4th and final season? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below.